Hello everyone, good afternoon. Yes, selamat datang di At America. Welcome to At America, the U.S. Embassy's American Center. First and foremost, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Genara Jusuf, or you can call me Ara, and I'll be the MC and also moderator for today's event. And for those of you new here, At America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for people to learn more about the United States through our events and our programs. Ladies and gentlemen, worldwide, an estimated 1 in 3 women experiences physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. Therefore, it is very important for everyone, especially women, to recognize the importance of self-defense skills. By learning self-defense, women can be more prepared to confront threats and protect themselves more confidently. Therefore, now we will be discussing everything that you need to know about self-defense on our event today titled Empowering Women, Building Confidence Through Self-Defense. But before we start, we have a social media quiz for our online audiences. And the question is it true or false? Self-defense can be more than just physical defense. If you know the answer to this question, you can submit it on our social media platforms. And for those of you who can answer it correctly, will receive a live shout from us by the end of this event. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to begin our event for today, let us first hear an opening remarks by the Law Enforcement Assistant Attaché of ISITAP. Please welcome Pak John Ruffcorn.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm John Ruffcorn. I'm the Law Enforcement Assistant Attaché with the International Criminal Investigations Training and Assistance Program, which is part of the U.S. Embassy, just a small part of the U.S. Embassy. We're employed by the Department of Justice, and we've been working with the Indonesian government, mainly the Indonesian National Police, for over 30-plus years. I'd like to welcome you to our self-defense workshop, which aims to empower women, and that's you, that's all of you, that's all of us, because empowering women help men also. Today we'll discuss physical tactics while building confidence, resilience, and a sense of personal safety. Prior to coming to Indonesia, I was a law enforcement officer for over 32 years, working my way up from the bottom all the way to being a chief of police. And I can tell you, I've literally investigated thousands and thousands of cases of violence against women. And I wish we would have had a forum like this to be able to educate the women in the United States when I started my career way back when. ISITAP organized this event in collaboration with At America as part of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence campaign, an international call to action aimed at raising awareness and mobilizing efforts to end violence against women and girls. Self-defense is more than physical ability. This is going to answer her question for the people on the internet. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about asserting your right to feel safe in your own body and your surroundings. This class will focus on the practical tactics to help you defend yourself while also developing a welcoming community where we can support and encourage one another. And again, it's just not about self-defense. It's about preventing those situations from happening in the first place. Together, we can conquer these hurdles, face fears, and create the groundwork for future growth. Remember that each step you take in this session will lead you to empowerment. Let us create an environment where we feel comfortable expressing ourselves, learning, and growing at the end of our time here today. I want to thank all of our partners, of course, who made this event possible, especially at America. The staff here at America does such a wonderful job from beginning to end working with us, because this doesn't happen overnight. My staff, Ernesta and Dewi, Batin, they've been working on this for quite a while, bringing in experts that you're going to get a chance to meet and hear from later on. But the staff here at America is absolutely wonderful to work with, and I thank them every day. I'd also like to thank my appreciation to our panelists, Mark Harison, who I just met out, and we came from some of the same areas. We worked in some of the same places in California. Our regional security office here at the embassy, again, ISITAP is just a small part of the embassy. There's so many other people who are here to help Indonesia and work in the law enforcement environment. He will share insights on recognizing potential threats and staying alert in your environment. Joe Ueno from Kita Gym Jakarta, who is a self-defense instructor right here in Jakarta, who'll guide us through some practical tactics to protect ourselves and our real-life situation. And my friend, Ibu Dr. Hastry, General Hastry to me, the IMP Pusdoka Central for Medical Aid and Health Services, who will talk about essential steps after the incident that you can take if by chance this happens. There's practical steps that you need to take right away to prevent this from happening again and preventing it from happening to somebody else, and to make sure you get the help that you need. To all of you participate, I want to thank you for your engagement. We couldn't be here without your support and enthusiasm. I hope that you will gain some information today, some awareness, and some physical techniques that you'll be able to utilize, hopefully, if you need to in the future, that will empower your daily lives and help you foster a safe community around you. Again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming today, and I truly hope that you get something out of us.
Yes, thank you so much to Pak John Rafcorn for the very insightful opening remarks. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, today's event is also to celebrate the 16 days of activism against gender violence, which is a very crucial topic to be talked about today. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our speakers to the stage. And please allow me to call upon the stage and also read a little introduction about our speakers for today. So our first speaker is a special agent with the Diplomatic Security Service. He was previously assigned to the Los Angeles field office where he worked on criminal investigations and protection details for the Secretary of State, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, and various foreign dignitaries. And currently he is the Assistant Regional Security Officer of the U.S. Embassy, Jakarta. Please welcome Mark Harison. Welcome, Pak Mark Harison, to the stage. And for our second speaker, he is a certified self-defense instructor specializing in personal protection tactics and techniques. And in 2021, he developed the Sri Kandi Women's Self-Defense Program, which aims to educate women on self-defense. He is also the head instructor at Kida Gym Jakarta and founder of Self-Defense Indonesia. Please welcome our second speaker, Jo Ueno. Welcome to the stage, Pak Jo Ueno. And for our third speaker, ladies and gentlemen, she is a forensic doctor and the head of the Forensic and Health Laboratory Center Bureau in the Police Health and Medical Center atau Pusdokes. She is also Indonesia's first female forensic doctor and a role model for women in law enforcement. Please welcome Brigjen Pol Dr. Sumy Hastry, Sp.F. DFM. Silakan Ibu. Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, these are our three wonderful speakers that will give us a presentation about the importance of self-defense skills and also empowering women. And each of our speakers today will be giving a presentation dan nanti akan diikuti oleh sesi Q&A. Jadi teman-teman boleh siapkan pertanyaan-pertanyaannya ya. So for our first presentation, I would like to pass the stage to Pak Mark Harison of the U.S. Embassy Jakarta. The stage is yours, Pak. This is yours. Boleh tepuk tangannya teman-teman.
Good afternoon. I want to talk about something critical to our safety and well-being, situational awareness. It's more than just looking around. It's actively paying attention to our surroundings and identifying potential threats in the environment. By doing so, it can make a huge difference. What is situational awareness? Situational awareness is the ability to perceive, comprehend, and anticipate events in your environment. It's more than just looking around. It's actively paying attention to what is happening, identifying potential threats, and preparing to respond effectively. It's asking yourself questions like, what is normal in this environment? Who or what is out of place? And what might happen next? Does it look like this gentleman who caught the fish is exercising situational awareness? No, right? There's a bear behind him, right? It's probably fake. At least I hope it's fake. Out of curiosity, does anybody know who this person is over here? Yeah? Shout it out if you know it. Go ahead. That's a good guess. This is Benjamin Franklin. He was one of the founding fathers of the United States, famous for being an author, diplomat, an inventor, and discovering electricity. And one of his most famous quotes that I really love is, "By failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail." situational awareness goes hand in hand with preparation. Preparation is what allows us to respond when something doesn't feel right. Preparation helps us to reduce panic. And in my previous assignment in Los Angeles, when I was a special agent, I worked on a number of protection details for the Secretary of State, the United States Ambassador to the United Nations, and other foreign dignitaries. And when I was working on these protection details, my colleagues and I would think through scenarios. We would call it the what if game. What if that person has a gun? What if that person has a knife? Or that person throws something at our protectee? How would we respond? How would we keep that person safe? Where would we go? Who would we communicate to? Thinking about these things will help you prepare yourself. It'll help you react faster and more decisively when emergencies occur. It'll give you confidence. It'll help you reduce fear and panic. Part of situational awareness involves recognizing threats. Suspicious behavior is not always going to be very obvious or dramatic. Oftentimes it's very subtle and it can be hard to identify. But here are some red flags to look for. If someone is spending too long next to an exit or a doorway, that could be an indication they're trying to target you. If someone's wearing unusual clothing, if I saw somebody wearing a heavy winter jacket here in Jakarta, I would think that's very suspicious, right? You don't really see that often here. I would assume that person has a weapon they're hiding. Other examples include if you're in a parking lot and you see a car that's driving slower than normal, or maybe you see someone who's walking back and forth in an unusual manner, or maybe you're in an area that's usually very busy, very lively, but suddenly it's very quiet. These are all indications that there's a potential threat. And it's important to remove yourself from that situation, and if you need to, call the authorities or notify someone. I would say most of us are very friendly people. If I had to guess, I would say if most of you saw me on the streets and I asked you for some help or for direction somewhere, you would probably help me. And I think that's a wonderful quality in people. That's one of the reasons why I love Indonesia, is everyone is so friendly and helpful. But you need to be mindful about your own personal safety as well. Sometimes people will take advantage of how friendly you are. They might try and use a friendly conversation to distract you. This is why it's so important to be aware of social settings. When you're aware of your environment and social settings, you can identify suspicious or unusual behavior before it becomes more serious. We all have personal space. It's that invisible boundary around us. And when someone violates that space, it makes us feel uneasy or uncomfortable. These are some red flags to look for. If someone is standing too close to you or leaning close to you, especially when there's a lot of space around, that could be a sign that they're trying to assert control over you, or they're trying to make you feel uncomfortable. Even a seemingly innocent gesture like putting your hand on someone's back or your shoulder could be an unwelcome sign and a warning as well. If someone is blocking your ability to leave or exit somewhere, that's also an invasion of your space. You have the right to leave whenever you want to. When these things occur, it's important to address them assertively. Take a step back, use your body language, and create distance from that person. And if you need to, speak up and tell that person needs space. One of the best methods to ensure our safety is by using the buddy system, where two or more people work together to increase situational awareness. By using the buddy system, you're better able to reduce your exposure to threats. I'm sure we've all seen videos of a lion chasing a group of zebras. It's always the zebra that's most vulnerable that gets eaten by the lion. It's the zebra that's the oldest or injured or the smallest. Unfortunately, the same goes for our society. Predators like to go after the most vulnerable people in our society. And when you're by yourself, you're more vulnerable. That's why it's better to stay in groups or at least a pair with somebody else to increase your security and reduce your exposure to threats. When you're with a person or a group of people, it also helps keep you accountable. If you're by yourself, you might think it's a good idea to cross through the park, take a shortcut through a dark alley. And if you have a friend, they might actually question you and say, hey, you know what? That's not a good idea. Let's stay on the sidewalk here where it's well lit. 2 eyes is better than 1 set of eyes. When you're walking to the store or a restaurant with your friend, perhaps one of you needs to navigate and you're on your phone and you can't really see what's going on around you. Well, your friend who's with you, your buddy, can scan and assess the area and make sure the surroundings are safe. So I highly encourage everyone to use a buddy system when possible. It's also important to be cautious in low light or dark areas. When you're in dark areas or low light situations, it can be very challenging to navigate and it reduces your visibility. It also makes it easier for threats to hide behind corners and lurk around. I would strongly encourage everybody to avoid low light situations if at all possible. However, if you do find yourself in dark places, it's important to keep your hands free in case you need to defend yourself. So avoid carrying bags if at all possible. Also, if you can have a flashlight or maybe use a light on your cell phone, that'll not only help you navigate a little easier, but it'll also signal to other people in the area that you're around. When people talk about situational awareness, it isn't just about physical security. It extends to the digital world. On social media, situational awareness means being mindful about the information that you're putting out there and how it's being used. What kind of posts are you making? Who are you interacting with? While it might be very tempting to share every exciting moment and all your achievements online, you need to recall or remember that the internet's not always a safe place. When we overshare on social media, we often expose more than we realize. So some tips to consider when you're using social media is to avoid releasing or giving out personal information such as your home address, where you work, where you go to school, medical situation, or financial information. Try to review the privacy settings on Instagram and Facebook as well, because they always change their terms and conditions. Review your followers. Make sure you don't have anybody following you or that you don't have any friends that you don't know. And one thing that I personally like to do is I like to delay my location sharing. I recently moved to Indonesia about a month ago from the United States. And just a couple weeks ago, my family and I went to Lombok on vacation. And of course, I want to post pictures and show my friends and family back in the United States how beautiful Indonesia is. But I waited until I came back to Jakarta, almost a week after I came back, to post pictures. The reason I do that is because I don't want anybody online to look at my social media account and think, oh, Mark's away on vacation. Nobody's at home. Maybe we can break into his house and steal all his belongings. So I highly encourage everybody to delay your location. If you're somebody who likes to share stories on a regular, constant basis in real time, I would encourage you to reconsider that. We live in a world where threats and dangers are very real, but they're also manageable. It's not about being paranoid. It's about empowering yourself and being proactive instead of reactive. It's about understanding your surroundings and recognizing possible threats and preparing to respond to them effectively. By doing so, you not only protect yourself, but those around you as well. Whether you're at home or at school or in public, It's important to always have a plan. You should know where the exits are wherever you go. Know where the first aid kit is. Know where the police are or the safe zones. If you see something suspicious, say something. Tell a colleague or tell the police. If your gut is telling you something does not feel right, you need to trust it. Don't ignore it. It's better to be safe than sorry. And finally, as you leave here today, I want to challenge each and every one of you to take a moment, pause, look around in your surrounding, identify some possible threats, make a plan and prepare yourself in case of an event. Ask yourself, what is going on around me? Because preparation and awareness are the key to safety and security. Thank you.
Coba tepuk tangannya. Yes. Yes, thank you so much, Pak Mark Harrison, for the very wonderful presentation. Next, we'll be having a presentation by our second speaker. So please welcome Kak Jo Ueno.
Selamat siang. Good afternoon. Very happy to be here. First of all, I want to say thank you for At America for this opportunity. So I've been given about 20 minutes for this presentation. So I'll try to make it as short as possible, but what I'll be presenting is a program that in KIDA we call SAFE, which stands for Self-Defense Awareness and Personal Safety. In this presentation, we're going to try to do a couple of things. Number one, we're going to try to build your understanding of what self-defense is. Because the idea is, for us to know what self-defense is, we need to know what self-defense is not. So in that process, we're going to do a bit of myth-busting, okay? Because unfortunately, the movies often do a very bad job at showcasing what self-defense is about. We'll also share with you some principles and techniques, right, that you can use to stay safe and defend yourself. Now, this is a last resort option in that when prevention, de-escalation, and escape is not possible, and if you are being attacked, we have some ideas, we have some tools that we're going to show you, which hopefully will get you out of that situation so that you can run, flee, and be safe. So a quick introduction. I am a self-defense instructor. I'm also a security professional and security trainer. I've had the opportunity to travel all around the world teaching self-defense and teaching how to keep people safe. And what I've found is that in places where women were empowered, a lot of times the community becomes so much better, right? And that was an interesting thing. And the program itself that I'm teaching today was actually inspired by my wife, God bless her. She said, hey, you know, since you're doing this so much, if you had to teach our daughters some basic things for them to keep safe, to stay safe, what would you teach them? And that's how we came with the program. So for the first video, I'd like to play this video in most of my presentations. And the reason is because this is what self-defense is not. Where do I turn to play the video?
Line up! Welcome to the first meeting of complete self-defense for women. I'm Bob Jackson. I have a black belt in karate, and I've studied martial arts for over 20 years. I'm also a former world champion. Now, this course may cost more than others, but I guarantee you'll never be afraid of violence again. Now let me ask, What are you ladies most concerned about? Yes, you!
Okay, say you find out something about your husband, like he got another wife and some kids. Well, what I want to know is, how do you kill a man in his sleep?
Let me think about that one. Why don't we start, though, with defense against the knife attack? Who would like to attack me?
Oh, me. I got one in my purse.
Why don't you try?
This is a real knife.
Don't worry about it, grasshopper.
I don't know. I really don't think I should.
It's okay, come on!
Oh, my God, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean it. Are you all right?
I'm fine. I shifted my internal organs to avoid the knife. However, like a lot of beginning students, you attacked me wrong.
Oh.
You're supposed to come at me like this. Remember that and try it again.
Okay. Sort of a downward thing. All righty. Sorry. You seem to be losing a lot of blood. Can I get you anything?
Oh, man! You see, you're still bending your elbows. You've got to keep your arm completely straight.
Oh.
That's the whole key.
Oh, God. All right.
Try it one more time.
Straight. Okay. I got it. All right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah. Are you crazy? It's our first day!
I just wanted to show her how easy it can be.
Yeah.
Okay,
After 20 years,
This class is a ripoff.
So-
I want my money.
that's an old clip from a TV show I grew up with. It was called In Living Color. And the reason why I like to play that clip is because, and don't get me wrong, I am a martial artist. I own a martial arts gym. But when I grew up, there was a lot of misconception about what self-defense is and what self-defense should be. And I kid you not, that clip reminds me of one of my senseis I had back when I was still maybe 12, 13 years old. And the reason why I want to play that clip is because, let me ask you this. In the previous presentation, Mark had mentioned this whole idea about preparedness, right? And if we are truly thinking about being prepared for self-defense, being prepared to be in a situation where you have to defend yourself physically, you need to have what I call an affirmation. So, initially, the plan was to have you scan the QR code and you could share with the audience, based on your current lifestyle and based on your current activities, what is a self-defense situation that you can see yourself in? Anybody want to go at? Try? So based on your current lifestyle, what is a self-defense situation that you can expect or that you can see yourself doing? Yes, ma'am, you want to give it a try? Okay, go ahead. Public transportation, that's one of them. Anyone else? Mall, okay, okay. So the reason why I asked this is because we all have different affirmations. And what I mean by that is this. If I were to come out from this event, right, and I get myself into what we call a fender bender, maybe a motorcycle driver inadvertently hits my car, and he starts pointing the finger at me and cussing me, I don't need to fight him, because that's not my affirmation. However, different scenario. If I was to go on a holiday with my wife and kids, right? We get a guest house somewhere out there in a remote place of Indonesia. And I hear at 3 o'clock in the morning, the front gate is being rattled. I look outside, I see 4 guys. They don't look like nice guys. I see they're holding something in their hand. I tell my wife and kid, hey, put the kids somewhere safe. I'll deal with this. I may grab a knife at the kitchen, and I'm prepared to defend myself and defend my family, because that is the affirmation that I made. Meaning, I will fight for that. And individually, you will all fight for different reasons, and that's okay. But coming back to the previous presentation is that you have to have that mindset ahead of time, because when it comes to you, you are prepared. Does that make sense? Okay. So, we talked about what self-defense is not and what actually is the real, what does a real attack look like in real life? I have to give you a bit of a heads up that there is a clip. It's not graphic, but it is disturbing. However, I play this clip because we are learning how to physically protect ourselves. And in that, we talk about violence. There is the aspect of violence, and we cannot neglect that. Okay? So, first clip. Go ahead, Mr. AV Man.
É, pior que é, né? Mas eu nem...
Vem cá!
Okay, that's the first video. This video was actually taken in Brazil during the Olympics. Forgot what year it was, but in here I think we can call that Bagal. Yeah? Okay. The next clip. Now the next clip, I'll just give you a bit of context. This is between a couple in which the man, the husband, or the boyfriend, I can't remember, he suspects that the woman is having an affair. So what he does is he takes her outside, and I won't play the full clip, but I'll just play the 10 seconds of the clip. Go ahead. Okay. That's enough. But I will say that the woman survived. And she survived because someone intervened. A bystander who happened to pass saw that and said, hey, dude, that's not cool. Back off, right? In the first presentation that Mark had presented, there was a lot of focus on awareness. And I can't stress enough how awareness and prevention is so big when it comes to self-defense. I can teach you all the cool moves that you guys have seen in John Wick movies. I can. But if you're not aware, if you're on the phone playing Candy Crush, good God Almighty, can't help you. Okay? Now, to develop that awareness, we can use a coding system, which is called the Cooper's Color Code, which was invented by a gentleman called Jeff Cooper. I think this was back in the, can't remember if it was in the early 70s or mid 70s. But Jeff Cooper was a former Marine Corps fighter. When he retired, he moved back to his state. I think it was, I can't remember if it's Arizona or Texas. But he set up a self-defense school, and the Cooper's Color Code is basically to represent the mindset for a particular situation. So for example, color code white would be a place where you're relaxed. If you're at home, you're with your family, you should be in color code white. Right now, I think most of you should be in color code white, okay? But as you go out, as you step out into the world and you take your public transportation, or you drive, or you go on a motorbike, your color code mental should be yellow, because you need to be paying attention at things, right? Because that's how we avoid accidents. Color code orange is basically something has picked up your interest. If you're riding on a public transportation and you see a guy just looking at you, or you have that funny feeling, that should go, you know what? Something's not right. Whereas color code red is, that's the attack. The attack is happening. Let me ask you this. Out of that color code, what will be the next thing after red? Anybody take a guess? Black, that's right. Why black? Okay, it's not only that, black because your brain shuts down. There's so much violence, there's so much aggression that you're not ready for it, that your body just shuts down, right? That being said, there are ways on how you can control this. The very first is what we call controlled breathing. Anytime you find yourself in a high risk situation or highly charged emotional situation, do this. And in fact, let's all do it right now. What I want you to do is to inhale to the count of 4, hold to the count of 4, exhale through your mouth to the count of 4, hold to the count of 4, and repeat process. Ready? We're going to inhale through your nose to the count of 4, hold to the count of 4, exhale to the count of 4, hold to the count of 4. The reason why we do that is a couple of things. Number one, when you do that, when you slow down your breath, you are providing oxygen to your brain. So think of it like this, and it doesn't have to be necessarily a violent situation. Maybe you get yourself in a car accident, right? Guaranteed your heart rate's going to be going like this, right? So to slow down that thought, do that breathing, okay? Now, another myth busting here. I often get asked a lot as an owner of a martial arts gym is, hey Joe, what's the best martial art for self-defense? And my answer is, well, it depends. It depends again to your situation, and it depends again to your affirmation. The next thing is, do I have to be a black belt to learn to defend myself? Short answer is no. In fact, if you apply what's being passed on today, there's a good chance you can stay safe, right? But that being said, don't get this wrong, yeah? There are many benefits in learning martial arts. Everything from being healthy, being stronger, having a support group, right? Having the knowledge, techniques to escape yourself or to handle different situations. So there are a lot of benefits. However, to think that martial arts is the end-all and be-all for self-defense, in my experience, has been incorrect. So the next thing is talking about defensive tools. I often get asked a lot, hey Joe, I'm worried about my safety. What can I buy? What can I purchase? What can I bring to protect myself? Should I carry a knife? No! Number one, knife under the Indonesian law falls under Undang-Undang Darurat. Okay. What about tasers? Again, I'm not a big fan of taser, so I don't recommend that. What I would recommend is a good pepper spray. A good pepper spray that comes from a reputable brand and it has a reputation for having good products. And the reason why I recommend pepper spray is because a pepper spray is what we call a distant tool. Meaning I can stand here, and if you had a pepper spray, if if you felt that I was going to attack you, you can literally pepper spray from that distance. Okay? But that being said, oh, sorry. We're going way past. Oh, nope. Going back. Oh, there you go. Okay. So, truly, your best self-defense tool is your brain. It's your mind. It's your knowledge. Okay? Get the training. Do some training, because if one day you need to fall back on your training, it'll be there for you. Okay, so I'm here. I'm joined here by my colleagues and my team from KITA Jakarta. Can I have Barry and Tasha? So what we'll do is we're gonna show you a few techniques that, again, I like to refer this as tools, right? Because it's not 100%, but at least you can try something. The first thing we're going to teach is what's called ETGS. That stands for eye, throat, groin, shin. But it's also an abbreviation for escape to get to safety. So, Tasha, come over here. Thank you. What do you think would be the benefit of attacking the eyes? Anyone? Yes? Impairs vision, right. What about on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a hard, very hard scale, 1 being very less effective, and then 10 being most effective? What do you think if it rests on? Pretty high, yeah? Okay. So what Tasha will do is she's going to first start in what we call a fence position. So the fence position is this. She's literally putting her arms up like a fence. What that fence does is that it increases her ability to react in case if there's a stimulus that comes from her attacker. In this scenario, Tasha will decide to go straight for the eye and then attack the groin. That being said, does anyone here want to try it? Sure, okay. So we've brought our striking pads, which our instructors will hold for you, but Tasha will first demonstrate. So first, Tasha, eye jab, and then groin. Okay. Round of applause for Tasha. Thank you. So as you saw, that is one tool that you can use. Attacking the eye and then immediately attacking the groin. Do we have any volunteers? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Barry, want to hold it for her? Okay. So the key here is a couple of things. 1, commitment, right? Commitment. You have to commit to the movement. And then 2, you have to also be aggressive. So, start from the fence. Good. You can use this hand to poke him in the eye. Do you like this? No. So Barry's going to need his eye. So preferably don't actually hit him in the eye, but just hit the pad and then strike the pad again with a knee strike. Let's do that. Okay, so you're going to go 1, boom, good. Grab him. Yeah, and then knee him. 1, 2, 3. Good job. Let's do it one more time. Ready? Stand by. Ready? Eye jab. Boom. Groin. 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 Good. Thank you. Good job. Thank you, Barry. Okay, so that's one tool that we can use. Next, I'm going to call for Dennis and Karina. Dennis and Karina will demonstrate. And again, for those of you who wants to give this a try, please come forward. We actually have a special offer for anyone that comes up, 35% discount at KITA Gym. Okay, so Dennis we will now show what's called a front choke escape. Okay, very common. Typically, in domestic violence situations or in intrapersonal violence between men and women. Okay? So what the attack will look like is Dennis will choke Karina. Very aggressive choke, very dangerous. Now, here's the little secret. The secret for Karina is if she can move the pinky finger, that choke is void. Karina, give it a go. Choke. Yep, go. Right? Boom. Boom. Okay, so the secret is actually here. So choke again. When Karina lifts her hand this way, what you notice is that this pinky finger gets either pushed up or it gets stuck. Right? And that breaks away the choke. And from there, she can either strike him with an elbow to the face or a hammer fist to the face, and again, re-attack the groin. So you see that there's a bit of continuity here. Okay? Anybody want to try? Yes. There's a funny sense of excitement when people are invited to hit people in the groin. I don't know why. Okay. Go ahead. So choke. Okay. Now slowly lift up your hand like you're grabbing a fruit up there. Turn. Yep. And then strike. And hit him in the groin. Hit him in the groin. Hit him in the groin. That's it. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, guys. And for the next one, I am going to invite Bella and Eka. So we're going to move on now into, I guess, a more highly aggressive situation in which now the attack is happening on the ground, right? And in real life, the victim can fall to the ground for different reasons. Maybe he or she gets punched, or she gets pushed off and she falls. So in this scenario, Bella will be on the ground and Eka will be choking her from a dominant position. Again, very dangerous, okay? The same principle still applies here in that she needs to release the choke hold by using a technique. Go ahead, Bella, full speed. Okay. Round of applause for Bella. Thank you. Okay. So let's do that in slow motion. So the same principle in that as Bella is being choked, she needs to first release the pressure from the chokehold because that is the danger there. And she does that by trapping Eka's arm, okay? And then bumping him with what we call a bridge to flip him over. Okay? Anybody want to try?
Pak Jo, I think we can continue it later because we still have one more speaker.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Well, that's all for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pak Jo.
Iya, terima
Okay.
kasih.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be moving on to our third speaker, pembicara kita yang ketiga. Boleh kita sambut Ibu Brigjen Pol Dr. Sumy Hastry.
Tepuk tangan ya. Waktunya kurang 4 menit, nggak apa-apa ya, langsung aja ntar. Jadi kebetulan saya Kepala Biro Laboratorium Kedokteran Kesehatan di Pusdokes Polri dan saya mempunyai 2 lab besar, lab DNA dan biomedis. Di sini hubungannya dengan memang pengungkapan kasus-kasus kekerasan, khususnya kekerasan seksual terhadap perempuan dan anak. Dan sekarang kekerasan seksual tidak hanya kepada perempuan dan anak, tapi laki-laki. Ada laki-laki di sini? Seneng ya? Bisa dibantu juga kan? Tetap laporannya ke unit PPA. Di sini sekilas memang Pusdokes Polri itu bisa sampai ke Polres. Jadi kalau teman-teman atau yang mendengar melihat butuh bantuan harus lapor kemana? Ke Polres, dan di sana ada Urkes, FKTP, dan ada PPT-nya. Jadi tidak usah ragu dan tidak usah takut untuk segera lapor dan diperiksakan apa yang dia alami dan dia dapat dari kekerasan di tubuhnya. Ini di saya, lab dokter saya, bit lab DNA, bit lab biomedis, dan sampai pemeriksaan histopatologi. Ini alur pelayanan korban, mungkin saya lanjut ke sini aja, jadi dampak terhadap kekerasan khususnya ya perempuan. Ternyata ini tidak perempuan aja loh, laki-laki. Dan masalah-masalah yang didapat pada kekerasan ini bisa juga nanti menjadi barang bukti yang menjadi alat bukti. Ada polisi wanita di sini? Banyak ya? Harus bisa membantu loh nanti mengungkap kasus-kasus ini. Dan di sini memang sangat riskan ya kalau perempuan itu terjadi masalah ketimpangan relasi gender sehingga dia merasa lemah dan laki-lakinya bisa mengontrol, memperlemah atau menyakiti pihak lain. Dan juga ketergantungan perempuan pada laki-laki sosial dan ekonomi. Dan kadang perempuan dikasih kekerasan mungkin hanya verbal, dianggap biasa, tapi lama-lama tidak biasa. Karena pasti akan diikuti kekerasan fisik terhadap perempuan itu sendiri. Ini dampak psikisnya dan bagaimana kita bisa mengumpulkan dampak medis ini, luka-luka pada tubuh supaya bisa jadi alat bukti. Kalau sekarang pelaku kekerasan itu semakin canggih. Saya sudah 25 tahun menangani kasus-kasus korban kekerasan ini dan laki-laki ternyata kalau jadi korban tuh saya lebih susah mencari bukti pada tubuhnya karena tidak kekerasan seksual tapi pembulingan ya. Kekerasan diterima sesama teman laki-laki seperti itu atau pelakunya perempuan dan laki-lakinya dikeroyok karena dia seperti wanita. Dan di sini memang kita harus tahu dampak medisnya apa, dampak psikisnya, jangka pendek, jangka panjang. Dan bila ini dituangkan dalam visum et repertum psikiater atau psikolog, itu bisa jadi barang bukti. Jadi kalau adik-adik atau rekan-rekan ketemu temennya lama, terus bilang, kok kamu gede banget ya, atau kok kamu jadi bengkak gitu, terus dia karena baper ya. Karena saya mungkin teman saya ada, karena udah menopause baper, sensitif, langsung dibilang gitu dia nggak bisa tidur selama seminggu. Terganggu ya, langsung konsul ke psikolog, psikiater, karena minta butuh obat kalau ke psikiater, itu dilaporkan. Lah, pemeriksaannya itu bisa jadi alat bukti, sehingga bisa menuntut temannya itu. Jadi harus hati-hati sekarang kalau bercanda. Juga kalau memang kasus kekerasannya, ini saya sambil mencontohkan ya, adik-adik melamar pekerjaan nih, pekerjaan kepada suatu perusahaan ya. Dan si yang mewawancara tahu kalau adik-adik sangat butuh pekerjaan ini. Apa yang dilakukan? Dilihat tangannya, karena kita diperiksa, mungkin tinggi badan, terus postur wajah, terus dia akan bilang, kayaknya aura kamu jelek deh, aura negatifmu jelek deh, nanti saya bersihkan ya. Gitu. Lah, ya ketawa ya, pernah kan? Ada pengalaman soal saya dapat kasus itu Bu. Bagaimana kita membuktikan? Ternyata karena percaya, ya udah saya bersihkan ya. Coba buka bajumu. Kasus yang di NTB difabel pelakunya kekerasan. Kita nggak membayangkan kan tidak punya tangan tapi melakukan kekerasan. Ternyata melakukan. Bagaimana dia mengkontrol emosi atau psikis kita. Semakin canggih pelaku-pelaku kekerasan ini ya. Kita juga harus lebih hati-hati, harus kuat mental dan imannya. Jadi jangan percaya. Kasus SMP, anak SMA yang saya periksa visum di sekolah, di Batang mungkin dengar, di Tuban atau di Bali, itu gurunya pelaku kekerasan seksual bilang apa? Tes kejujuran. Coba kamu udah punya payudara harus jujur sama saya gitu. Betul, itu kasus-kasus. Kamu sudah punya alat vital ini, berapa sih? Lihat dong, jujur loh, harus jujur sama saya. Karena dia takut gurunya akhirnya mau. Lah itu kan yang kadang kita tidak bisa membuktikan. Kalau itu terjadi, mungkin lanjut ini kekerasan, undang-undang tindak pidana kekerasan seksual ini yang terbaru sangat membantu kita karena kita bisa membantu hak dari korban dan juga kita bisa memvisum pelaku. Jadi apakah betul nih pelakunya itu manipulatif atau ke arah sosiopat atau psikopat itu bisa. Jadi memperberat juga dari si korban ya. Jadi kalau pelaku kekerasan khususnya seksual itu tidak ada saksi, tidak ada CCTV karena kadang masuk ruangan bareng-bareng, masuk mobil sama-sama, masuk suatu tempat sama-sama karena tadi manipulatifnya. Lah, itu bisa kita ajukan kalau si pelaku memang diduga dia. Dan bagaimana undang-undang tadi ya, bagaimana ini pelecehan-pelecehan bentuk-bentuk pada undang-undang TPKS, jadi pelecehan seksual non fisik, fisik, kontrasepsi, sterilisasi, memaksa KB itu juga nggak boleh, penyiksaan perkawinan, seksual, eksploitasi seksual, dan perbudakan seksual juga seksual berbasis elektronik. Jangan sampai yang nggak dikenal mau telepon terus buka video call terus sana bugil. Ada yang pernah ngalamin? Saya pernah, bukan saya ngalami, teman saya kasusnya, jadi saya membantu membuktikan. Jadi jangan sampai sembarangan nerima, tadi dijelaskan Mr. Mark ya, untuk menerima orang asing, telepon ya kan, terus karena followernya baru banyak, padahal nggak dikenal, orang asing itu kan gawat, nggak usah, lebih baik nggak usah temenan gitu kan. Dan hati-hati jangan curhat, karena dari curhat kita, teman saya itu dokter juga, S3, dosen di Undip, dia percaya karena suka curhat di medsos, dia jadi percaya oleh seseorang yang memuja-muja dia sehingga dia nyaman, senang, akhirnya dilakukan video call buka baju seperti itu, buktinya direkam, foto mau disebarin, diperas. Pertama minta 50 juta, 100 juta, terakhir 1 M, dia nggak kuat. Akhirnya bilang saya minta tolong, akhirnya kita lapor polisi dah, terus terang sama keluarganya. Ini kasusnya. Dan memang harus hati-hati. Sekarang bagaimana kalau inovasi, sebentar. Ini bagaimana kalau terjadi pada kita ya, atau terjadi sama teman kita atau orang lain, kita ajak ke ke rumah sakit atau IGD atau tadi saya bilang Polres yang ada kliniknya, dan luka yang didapat, misalnya kok saya habis lecehkan seperti itu, saya cakar, ada bekasnya di sini, jangan dicuci, minimal taruh aja langsung ditutup plastik lah, kita bawa ke IGD atau kantor polisi tahu, nanti kan kita bisa tahu dapat sampel DNA-nya dari si pelaku, atau kita digigit lah, jangan dicuci, gas itu lecet merah, udah bawa aja langsung ke sana. Tahu kasus Saiful Jamil? Dengar tahu, temannya Saiful Jamil ya, enggak. Jadi si anak ini, jadi dia itu bukan agak porno nih, bukan dia mengoral Saiful Jamil mengoral anak ini. Lah anak ini pintar, dia langsung ke tempat saya di rumah sakit Polpus waktu itu, langsung kita visum, langsung kita ambil dari kemaluan si anak ini, ternyata ada DNA-nya Saiful Jamil, itu bagus ya. Itu seperti itu, terbalik ya cerita sebenarnya gini ya. Nah itulah hal-hal yang harus kita waspadai. Jadi tadi kalau psikis, kita buktinya apa? Kita ke psikolog atau psikiater. Kalau fisik, kita ke IGD atau ke PPA ya, atau PPT, atau ke rumah sakit terdekat, dan kita tahu, kita amankan barang bukti petunjuk yang ada di tubuh kita. Kalau memang terjadi kekerasan seksual dan kita sampai disetubui, diperkosa ya, jangan dicuci. Ya kita usahakan sampai kita diperiksa oleh dokter, diambil swabnya, apa yang ada di organ vital kita, mungkin ada rambut kemaluan dari pelaku, masih ada bercak-bercaknya, kita periksakan, kita ambil sampel DNA-nya dan kita bisa pastikan kalau pelakunya itu. Itulah bukti-bukti ilmiah karena minimnya saksi seperti itu. Dan memang kalau kedepannya saya harapkan ini ya, jadi apa saja sih yang diperiksa kalau memang datang ke tempat pelayanan terpadu ya, atau ke rumah sakit, dan jangan takut, di rumah sakit sudah ada tempat untuk pemeriksaan terpisah. Kadang takut juga nih ya kalau korban datang ke rumah sakit digabung sama korban-korban kecelakaan, sakit tipes, demam atau penyakit lainnya. Dan memang sudah diarahkan ada tempat pelayanan khusus untuk penanganan kekerasan. Dan kantor polisi juga jangan sampai digabung oleh para pelapor yang curat, maling, itu kan dia bingung mau datang aja udah alhamdulillah, datang ke sana digabung sama pelaku-pelaku lain yang ditangkepin dan suruh lapor di SPKT seperti itulah. Ini kronologisnya perlakuan pelaku, riwayat dibius mungkin ada, haid dan kejadian setelah persetubuhan juga riwayat psikiatri. Apakah betul dia sebagai korban ataukah dia malah sebagai pelaku? Sering terjadi mungkin dengar kasus yang di Sulawesi ternyata si ibunya yang mengarang cerita dikira anaknya yang disetubui oleh bapak kandungnya. Tidak. Ternyata dia karena rasa kesedihan dan rasa depresi sehingga mengarang cerita seolah-olah anaknya disetubui oleh suaminya sendiri karena dia rasa cemburu yang berlebihan. Kalau di dunia kedokteran namanya Bruce Baby Syndrome, jadi hormon yang berlebih sehingga dia rasanya curiga jadi numpuk dan sangat membenci suaminya. Dan memang kita harus komprehensif pemeriksaannya supaya tidak si ibu aja. Kasus guru di Goa, ingat yang memukul anaknya pakai sapu. Apakah memang luka seperti itu karena disabet oleh sapu lidi? Ternyata kan tidak. Dia habis disabet, main diselokan, gatal, digarok, melepuh, terus lapor. Jadi seolah-olah disabetin banyak gitu kan. Nah ternyata tidak seperti itu dan kita juga membantu gurunya kenapa dia sampai seperti itu. Kronologis si guru juga kita periksa beban apakah sehingga dia memperlakukan muridnya seperti itu. Ternyata memang faktornya banyak. Nah itulah yang membuat keputusan hakim tidak menghukum guru ini karena memang sebenarnya tidak sekali fatal ya luka yang didapat oleh si anak. Jadi ingat kalau memang kita ada luka, kalau saya sudah tahu teman-teman penyidik misalnya mati korbannya, terus ada cakaran, ada darah, daripada penyidiknya bingung, teman-teman juga bisa kasih tahu, ditutup plastik aja gitu, diselamatkan biar tidak terkontaminasi atau tidak dicuci. Biasanya kalau di kamar jenazah kadang teknisi nggak tahu tuh jenazah malah dibersihin karena keluarganya mau lihat padahal itu adalah barang bukti di tubuh jenazah. Kalau hidup lebih enak lagi, jadi kita kasih pengertian supaya diperiksa dulu lengkap, diambil dari ujung rambut sampai kaki, kita swab semua, kita ambil sampelnya dan kita periksakan dengan baik sehingga pelaku bisa dijerat. Apakah mungkin pelaku kekerasan seksual hanya seorang? Lah dari pemeriksaan cairan dalam tubuh korban itu kita bisa buktikan pelaku pemerkosaan itu 1, 2 atau 3. Nah, itu untuk menjerat si pelaku juga. Ini pemeriksaan fisik tadi dijelaskan. Jadi memang kekerasan seksual itu awalnya sekarang itu kalau saya pelajarin tadi bujukin, psikisnya masuk, kena, akhirnya terjadilah pemaksaan hubungan seksual yang tidak bisa ditolak oleh si korban. Nah itu berat bagi kita untuk membuktikan, tapi ternyata kan bisa kita cari kalau ada kekerasan seksual pada si korban. Misalnya ada lecet-lecet yang tadi sekitar daerah genitalnya, dan ada gigitan, ada jeratan, mungkin ada paksaan. Dan laki-laki, saya punya korban laki-laki itu lebih susah juga sih soalnya. Karena dari luar laki-laki waktu bicara kayak perempuan tuh kan, jadi dia dibully temennya, jadi ya kita perlakukan sebagai korban. Semuanya lapornya ke PPA, walaupun korban kekerasannya laki-laki atau perempuan. Ini pemeriksaan penunjangan. Jadi memang kita harus harus pemeriksaan gabungan ya, ada pemeriksaan ronsen, memastikan, dan tulang juga untuk kasus anak ya. Apakah apalagi yang meninggal, saya pernah memeriksakan anak ini diperkosa oleh ayah tirinya di Morotai sehingga saya ambil, saya otopsi sampai saya bawa ke Jakarta, ternyata kita masih ketemu bekas air mani pada tulang si anak ini karena anak ini masih muda, 5 tahun, tulangnya masih tulang rawan sehingga dapat di situ. Itu bisa kita buktikan karena pelakunya memang ayah tirinya. Dulu waktu anak saya masuk sekolah SMA Taruna Nusantara, saya pesan nggak boleh ada yang buka bajumu selain gurumu. Sekarang saya nggak bisa bilang gitu. Nggak boleh ada yang boleh buka baju termasuk guru ya nggak? Bapak kandung juga sekarang nggak boleh. Sekarang yang boleh hanya ibu dan dokter. Dokter juga harus didampingi perawat. Karena kemarin saya meriksa seorang anak meninggal itu di rumah sakit Polpus, yang ngantar jenazahnya bapaknya, ternyata yang melakukan sodomi bapaknya juga. Dia mati 5 tahun, disodomi bapaknya 3 kali jebol, mati loh, anak kecil loh. Saya mau otopsi bapaknya juga, itu soalnya. Jadi seperti itu ya, jadi ya ternyata dan yang membunuh ibunya dan neneknya juga, anaknya itu ya diotopsi di rumah sakit Polpus, ya itu karena dia memang ada gangguan jiwa dari dulu ya, dan masih di bawah usia, masih 14 tahun, itu sangat riskan sekali. Ini nafsu alkohol juga kita periksa ya, apakah ada gangguan, dia memaksa untuk melakukan kekerasan atau menghilangkan nyawa seseorang, itu kita periksa dengan baik. Ini thank you, itu aja, mungkin diskusinya lebih aktif. Tadi terima kasih, semangat. Saya juga senang dengernya. Thank you.
Terima kasih banyak Ibu Dr. Sumy Hastry. Nah, teman-teman, sekarang kita akan buka sesi tanya jawab ya. Jadi kalau di sini ada yang punya pertanyaan, boleh langsung tunjuk tangan. Ada yang mau bertanya? Oke, silakan Kak. Boleh dibantu tim di paling depan? Boleh sebut namanya, lalu ditunjukkan untuk siapa ya Kak pertanyaannya.
Okay, amazing speaker. First thing first, thank you so much. My name is Trina Sabil. I'm from Students for Liberty. And actually, I'm very interested to come today because I was also a project officer for a Liberty camp for women. It's called as Liberty Shield Sister, where I teach free Muay Thai. Not me, actually. I'm just like a participant, but I host the training. And actually, I want to ask to Kak Jo, specifically because about the affirmations. Because, so my project actually specify on woman that is actually a victim of sexual harassment and sexual violence. And one of the things that actually I found a lot in the participant is that, so they have the affirmation at first, right? But they got molested, right, by anyone. Like, and from that moment happened, the affirmation just went wrong. Like, they don't have any affirmation because, like, of course, everyone wants to protect themselves, right? But since they got harassed and since they got violence and something like that, like their self-esteem just dropped. They feel like, no, I'm too weak. I would never be able to protect my own self. And I think for most cases, that's like the most hard thing for me to do it. Because like, example, like we already did like 2 camps, and on one of the camp, some of them still traumatized when they see punches. Like when they see like kicks, like because I do Muay Thai, there's like of kicking and punching. They're still like, you know, like have some, you know, like the gesture. It tells me that they're very scared. That they're very scared to start with. And from that moment, I actually really want to ask like, how do we help this specific kind of people who, you know, traumatized already to the point they cannot even rebuild the affirmation. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for the question. Joe, you may answer.
Sure, so that is actually a very good question. And my advice is, if you have someone that has gone through a lot of trauma, it's really not the best time for them to start doing anything physical or anything that may trigger those memories back. I've worked with I've had a few students in the past that also went through that, and I said, hey, I'll be honest, you don't need me right now. You need to talk to, you gotta talk to a counselor. Once you've gone through all that, if you want to come back and train, come and see me. Now, after she had done through that, obviously she was ready to train, right? But even in training, and one of the things that we do different at our gym is that we actually do a bit of role playing. And what we've also found out is that for people that have gone through that experience, even the role playing itself, where it's done in a simulated environment, where everything is air conditioned, it's a safe environment, it can still trigger those memories back. So my suggestion, if you had that sort of, profile, is to put them aside and say, hey, maybe this is too intense for you. Let's do something else. So hopefully that answered your question. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Joe. Oke, sekarang aku mau mungkin dari teman-teman mahasiswa ada yang mau bertanya, boleh kalau mau langsung tunjuk tangan aja, boleh pakai bahasa Indonesia juga teman-teman ya, kalau dari sebelah sini ada. Silakan yang ini. Oke, Silakan, boleh ditujukan untuk siapa pertanyaannya?
Oke, terima kasih atas waktunya. Sebelumnya perkenalkan saya Zilma Asrinita dari jurusan Psikologi 2022. Pertanyaan ini saya tunjukkan untuk pada Ibu Putri. Bagaimana saya pernah punya kasus teman saya terjadi, dia dilecehkan secara seksual, akan tetapi yang seperti Ibu jelaskan tadi, bahwasanya pelecehan seksual ini tidak ada buktinya. Nah, maaf, seperti dia tuh digrepe dan sensitif ya Bu, tapi bagaimana cara saya memberitahukan kepada dia untuk melaporkan, sedangkan dia bilang tidak ada bukti. Apakah akan ada bukti Bu secara fisik kepada teman saya, tetapi itu tidak di dalam Bu, di luar. Terima kasih.
Silakan. Terima kasih untuk pertanyaannya. Silakan Ibu
Memang
Hastry.
kesulitan dari kekerasan yang pelecehan, kalau memang habis dipegangin terus hijabnya atau bajunya diperiksakan terus diambil sidik jari atau DNA-nya masih bisa. Tapi kalau udah dicuci, udah berlangsung beberapa hari kan sulit. Lah, tadi saya bilang butuh psikologi forensik untuk mengidentifikasi jiwanya dia, apakah ada gangguan. Itu bisa dituangkan dalam visum, tapi tetap harus ada permintaan dari penyidik. Nah, adik-adik harus jangan dibiarkan, nanti si pelaku akan terus-menerus kepada korban yang lain. Itu sangat bisa, dan kalau di pasal 184 KUHP itu kan terus 2 alat bukti lah. Kalau dari keterangan psikologi forensik memang dia terganggu karena pelecehan tersebut, dia akan dimintain lagi oleh ahli, oleh penyidik sebagai ahli. Di berita acarakan ahli lagi, itu bisa jadi 2 alat bukti, dan itu bisa maju terus karena saya beberapa kali ada kasus seperti itu, dan kita sudah menggunakan undang-undang TPKS yang terbaru ini. Gitu. Semangat ya Dek, kita kurang banget loh psikologi forensik.
Oke, boleh tepuk tangannya teman-teman. Yes, semoga menjawab ya pertanyaannya. Okay, so now everyone, we're gonna continue with the demo session with Joe. So boleh tepuk tangan untuk speakers kita hari ini. Yes, thank you so much Mark, thank you so much Ibu Sumy Hastry, thank you so much Joe. So yes, now we will be moving on to our another demo session. So untuk Ibu, for 10 minutes ya Joe ya. Yeah, so untuk Ibu Sumy Hastry and also Mark, Pak Mark, you may be seated again. Okay, maybe just stay here, it's fine. Thank you so much.
All right, so 10 minutes. Wow, hard. Let me ask you guys, is there any situation you guys can think of? A scenario where that you think, is applicable? Okay. All right, so can I have Dennis and Tasha? Okay. So the situation was basically, it's a sexual harassment, physical, in which a person touches what my kids call the body boundary area, right? Okay. Remember we talked about awareness and prevention. If someone had the intent to touch your body boundary, do you think the gestures or the attitude would be reflected? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, right? I mean, if I'm coming up after coming at a nightclub, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going like this, hey, Tasha, right? I'm obviously not myself. I'm obviously very drunk. If Tasha can see that, she can avoid it, right? But what about situations where you're in very close proximity? For example, public transportation. We've seen a lot of these viral videos of women being grabbed and groped and all that, right? So again, this is where awareness comes in. So if Dennis had the intent to touch any part of Tasha, Tasha's first thing is what? Awareness. She needs to first identify, see him, check him. We call it check him. When Tasha makes eye contact with him for that brief second, Tasha is basically acknowledging that, hey, I see you. I see you're there, right? And the moment Dennis starts to come closer, notice that Tasha is already positioning her hands up like this because she's putting on a fence. As we discussed before, that fence enables you to react faster. If your hands are in your pocket, if you have something in your hand, it'll be less efficient for you to react. Make sense? Okay. Moving closer, right? Again, Tasha's using her awareness. She's using her fence. She's putting on a boundary. What's the next thing that she can do? Use the voice. That's right. Use your voice, right? Now, here's also another interesting thing. Culturally, we're all different. And sometimes using your voice is not something that comes natural. That's why, that's where, again, the whole martial arts training, the whole self-defense training, that's where it comes of use. Because through those training, you can use your voice to say, hey, stop, what are you doing? Okay. Clearly, Tasha is being very nice. But if Dennis was to be more aggressive, there you go, okay? So notice that Tasha's putting her hands up like that. So it's not, obviously in the real world, it's not gonna be it's not gonna be as perfect as that, but what I'm sharing is that those are kind of the framework that you can work on. Make sense? Good, thank you. Thank you guys. Anything else? Okay. What I want to show next is a bear hug defense. Can I have someone do the bear hug? Who wants to do it? Tasha or Karina? Tasha? Okay, good. What I found, which was I think was very interesting, is that when men fight and when men and women fight, very different. Understand that men typically fight in numbers, because when I go out, I'm typically not by myself. I'll be out with Dennis. I'll be out with Barry, with one of my friends. And when the incident happens, there's usually going to be what? Verbal argument, right? Apelo, beep 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 beep, and then we do this, right? We do that. Apelo, we do that, right? Okay. But the way men and women fight is different, because it happens at a very close range. It happens what we call at a very personal range. And the reason being is because typically men want to dominate, right? Because we want to use the size that we have to dominate the smaller person. So oftentimes, so in the first part we saw about a choke, right? So choke happens at a close range. They could be in an argument, and then boom, the choke just happens. Another one that happens is also what we called a bear hug. So a bear hug is basically maybe Tasha's trying to escape. She's trying to get away from Dennis, who's being a really, really naughty and very not nice boyfriend, and he grabs her from behind. Boom, like that. What do you think the danger is in this position? No, the danger. What's the danger of Tasha being caught like this? Do you think Tasha could be picked up and thrown? Yes, right? And you've probably seen the videos that went online, or that went viral, right? So if this happens, a couple of things. Now again, these are principles, but you do have to train them, right? Because it has to be second memory. So when Tasha is grabbed, first thing she does is to lower her base. She lowers her base because in doing so, it makes it slightly harder for Dennis to pick her up, right? And even if she does get picked up, she then needs to grapevine one of her legs to Dennis's leg. In doing that, she's basically locked in with Dennis. Now, obviously, she can't stay there forever, right? She just can't go, ha, 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 you can't pick me up, right? Okay, so remember what we talked about in the beginning? We talked about eye, throat, groin, shin. Eye, throat, groin, shin. Escape to get to safety. So from here, she lowers her base. Dennis tries to pick up. She hooks her leg, and then from there, she's gonna strike his groin, right? So from here, boom, right. Now, that was just a strike, but imagine in the moment, she grabs it, and then she just puts it in her hand. What do you think that does to him? He's not gonna like it. Most likely he's gonna let go, right? So when that happens, go ahead, strike. Okay? She can turn, face him again. Remember, we have to face our threat, face our problem. Same thing again. Knee, and push him off and escape, call for help. Thank you, Tasha. I'm out of time. So hopefully that was useful. Again, awareness, prevention will still be your first line of defense. But if you have to, again, if you have to, fight for your life, fight with commitment, attack the vital targets, and always seek safety and escape. Thank you very much.
Okay, yes. Okay, thank you so much, Joe, for the very wonderful presentation. Buat tepuk tangan sekali lagi, teman-teman. Yes. So yes, that will be today's event. We learned a lot, everyone, about self-defense, especially for women, to protect yourselves more in the environment. So yes, thank you so much, everyone, for joining our event today. We hope that everyone gained a lot of new knowledge and also insights from today's event. And earlier in this event, everyone, we had a social media quiz. And the question is it true or false? Self-defense can be more than just physical defense, and the correct answer to that is true. There are several types of self-defense, including physical self-defense, verbal self-defense, and situational awareness, as explained by Mark, and also technological self-defense. Shout out goes out to @Timnesia Safiera from Instagram for answering the question correctly. Lastly, for everyone here who wants to join more events here in Ad America, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms at AC America on Instagram, X, and also Facebook. And also make sure you visit our website at www.acamerica.or.id. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, and thank you to our speakers. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Ibu Hastry. Thank you also to Mark for the very wonderful presentation. And with that, it is time to end our event for today. And thank you so much once again, everyone. My name is Ara, and see you at the next At America event. Thank you, everyone.